The problem was he speaks in parables so much that you're just not, it's a difficult subject because you don't know if he's really meaning literally cut your hand off or just whether it means just stop what you're doing.
You don't always want to lose a hand or whatnot if you can, but if you can't teach the hand not to sin, then what should you do? I mean, I don't know. It's how important do you think it is to stop sinning is your question that you got to ask yourself, I guess.
I think that this is Jesus's kind of genius hyperbole where he, through this sort of visceral imagery, through this sort of offensive, grotesque imagery, I think that he is trying to illustrate that the most awful thing that can happen to you in the physical world, the greatest pain in the physical world cannot compare to pain in the spiritual world.
Did you hear about the guy in Mount Mitchell that he fell and a boulder fell on his arm and he had to cut it off to live too, to escape?
It's anything that offends God. It's anything that we know we're not supposed to do, that we do not for him, but for ourselves.
You know, surrendering and giving up something that may be really important to you on the short side of things is not worth giving up a relationship with God. And being in a loving relationship with God is not easy sometimes. It requires sacrifice and pain.
Something that's holding you down, you know, that you need to, no matter how painful it is, you need to cut it off and throw it away.
A sin is an addiction. I mean, it really is. It's something that we are born into doing, but it's something we don't have to necessarily do, I guess.
I think hell as being present here and now, and not just this place that waits for us after death. And I think that hell can be a place that you can create for yourself now. And I think that there are a lot of people in the world who are in hell right now.
You know, a lot of times we get into religion, and religion turns into right or wrong, and it gets very black and white. And sometimes the picture that's painted of torture and hell, you know, is very harsh and very hard, and yet it makes people stop and wonder. But the real opposite of that is really what Jesus' message was, the door and a pathway to love. And if that makes us stop and reflect on those things and spend more time in grace and love, then maybe that was a good place to recognize that.
I guess because we weren't meant to be sinful creatures. We were meant only to praise and walk with him. But when the first sin entered the world, it proceeded to cause us pain.
It's not all about stopping sinning, it's about start loving, and all that'll come. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you haven't got to say, oh, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, you know? That's what's being out on the streets has taught me a lot. It's taught me a lot how to love.
I think that what Jesus is saying is that the most important thing is the state of your soul.